And so I feel like what you're offering us today is this is the something that we can be doing to start having more access to regulation that
Yeah.
is such an innate thing that's necessary both within ourselves and with each other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anything specific comes up for you around that?
Well, there is, but first I just want to point out, the work of Peter Levine and just acknowledge, he was actually, you know, so significant in us understanding
Mm-hmm.
trauma and how it shows up in the body, and helping us to understand that trauma is not an event. It is not something that happened to you in the past. It is a feeling that you are having in the present moment because your body didn't get the chance that the deer got to go shake it off in the tree. And the other thing that the deer did after it shakes it off, it goes back to the pack or whatever a group of deer is called, and it hangs out with them, it socializes with them, it eats with them, it goes back into regulation with the group. And often what happens to us when we've been re-traumatized is it becomes, we don't get to speak it, we don't get to have that self or that co-regulation, we don't
Yes.
share it with people, and so it gets stuffed down more and more, and the mind starts to forget, but the body is, keeping score, as that great book, The
Yeah,
Body
I
Keeps
love
Score,
Bessel's
says.
book. Yeah.
So this is where it can get really confusing for us in our head. We think we're tracking it. People will say, um, I know it doesn't make sense. I know it's safe, but I don't feel safe. And
Yeah.
this is the body just screaming, just say, please listen to me. Like, we'll help you through this, but we have to feel it. We
Yeah.
have to, and we're not used to feeling. So this is where the slowing down comes into it, is that just like if we, are constantly feeding our stomach food, it never gets a chance to fully get the benefit of the food. And we
Yeah.
are addicted to movement. We are constantly moving. And this was some of my healing in the last year and a half, is realizing I overwork, I overcommit, I overgive, I'm overextended, and I'm underliving. I've not
Oh,
lived my life. Those go
yeah.
together. The overs, whatever it is we do, means that we're underliving our life. And so what happens when we slow down, initially it can be really uncomfortable, and it actually can be, since we're talking about trauma, it can be re-traumatizing for many
Yeah.
people, just simply to be quiet, and still. But the stillness allows for clarity. The stillness allows for deeply listening to ourselves and deeply feeling what the truth of our life is. And one of the great teachings from Patanjali that I always hold with me, the writer of the Yoga Sutras, is that
Mhm.
the happiness of our lives is in direct proportion to the truth that we're living in our lives. And
Yeah.
a lot of us would say that we're truthful, honest people, but when we're quiet, we can hear the little lies, we can hear the little
Mm.
discrepancies. And that's really, really uncomfortable and painful work to do. But it's made better when we do it with each other, when we share with each other. So
Right.
the slowing down is essential, and essentially it's faster. And But it goes against everything that we're taught. We measure ourselves from our successes from the outside, but often those people that have so much success from the outside don't actually feel that. So
No.
the journey is inward, and the path is slow and steady, um, and it's much simpler. But there's so much resolution, and there's so much um, understanding and self-compassion that comes up through that slow, steady, methodical, just being with oneself.